Mortal Kombat 6. Deadly Alliance basically brought Mortal Kombat back into the limelight after a 5-year absence, so naturally a follow-up was presented 2 years later. The title of the game was Mortal Kombat Deception. What kind of an introduction is that, you say? Well, what can I say? It's the second installment in the 6th generation MK trilogy. Now, I went into my gripes with Deadly Alliance. Did Deception improve on things? Well, let's find out. We start off with another opening. It tells of how the heroes failed to stop the Deadly Alliance from resurrecting the remains of the Dragon King's army. In the end, only Raiden himself stood between Earthrealm and total destruction. So unlike the last opening, which was all exposition, here we have an action opening, and the choreographing for the fighting is not too bad. Raiden even gets to pull off some nice fighting moves. He fights well, but in the end he is ultimately defeated. The Deadly Alliance have won. But then of course, betrayals happen, and the two sorcerers fight each other with Quan Chi emerging the victor. For about 2 seconds. It's at that point that Onaga the Dragon King shows up. He's got a rather nice introduction, effortlessly shrugging off projectile attacks, and this leads to Raiden, Shang Tsung, and Quan Chi teaming up to battle Onaga, but it does no good. So Raiden does the only thing he can, incite gibberish.
Raiden began to realize that even their combined might was not enough to defeat the Dragon King. There was only one chance left. Raiden's sacrifice was in vain, for the blast had little effect on the Dragon King. Now Onaga has what he needs to shape the realms as he sees fit. I was the fool who brought him this power. Only I can destroy this threat, born of deception.
So to go into the story, you get your usual character bios, but they're told in first person this time around, which gives you a bit more insight into each character's thoughts on the situation at hand. Scorpion gets repurposed as the Elder God's enforcer. Sub-Zero gets a new armor which makes him look like the Shredder from Ninja Turtles. I can't be the only one who thinks that, right? Deception brings back a lot of characters who hadn't been in many Mortal Kombat games. Baraka, Melina, Ermac, Nightwolf, Cabal, Jade, Sindel. So you could say this game features the B-listers of Mortal Kombat. We also get 2 new realms to add to the MK universe. What are their names? Order and Chaos, which means exactly what you think it does, so I won't bother going into it. But if I'm going to talk about the story, that means I must talk about Conquest, so I'll be covering that mode first. No longer a glorified training mode, Conquest is now a full-fledged adventure. You control a character named Shujinko, who is essentially our main character for the game. After Liu Kang was killed in Deadly Alliance, Mortal Kombat found itself without a hero, and Deadly Alliance really didn't have anyone step up to fill that role. So you get this guy named Shujinko, a Chinese character with a Japanese name that literally means main character. Yeah. Oh, and then there's this.
Shujinko is kind of our next generation Liu Kang.
Next generation Liu Kang? Why is he older? Next generation implies younger people, but this guy is like 60. Oh, I'm getting ahead of myself. So Shujinko is a young boy who plays as the great Kung Lao of his friends. He dreams of winning the Mortal Kombat tournament. His life would change forever when an orange ball of light appears before him named Damashi, who tells Shujinko that he's been chosen by the Elder Gods to be their champion to save the realms. Shujinko just kind of agrees and goes along with it, because when a giant ball of light appears before you and says, "Hey, you're the God's champion," your natural reaction wouldn't be, "I don't know about this. Spending much of my life in the process seems awfully fishy." Instead, it's, "Oh, you're gonna pick my loser friend who pretends to be Shang Tsung? So long, Mom. So long, Dad. I'm just gonna leave you all behind. Bye!" Shujinko is told that he has to find each of the 6 Kamidogu, artifacts that shape the realms. If you get all 6 of them, you will gain immense power. So you go through the years of Shujinko's life. Occasionally, you'll train with a character which teaches you how to play as that character, explained as Shujinko absorbing their fighting technique. What I must compliment this mode for is that you really do get to explore the MK universe. Earthrealm, Netherrealm, Chaos Realm, Outworld, Order Realm, and Edenia are all explored on your quest to find the Kamidogu, and each realm feels unique. You can find chests throughout which give you coins or give you keys to unlocking characters, thus making unlocking everything a little more easier compared to Deadly Alliance. And collecting coins is much easier this time, although collecting honest coins is still a bitch no matter how many side quests you do. For the bad of Conquest Mode, well, the control is a bit sluggish. You can punch people, which can be amusing, but I really must question the lack of a jump button, thus limiting your movement. Some of the chests are time-based. They only appear at certain times of day or month. Fortunately, there's a way to skip ahead in time. By pressing the meditation button, Shujinko will meditate and thus time will move forward faster. But the biggest problem with Conquest Mode is that I don't really care much for Shujinko. He honestly comes across as pretty gullible. He blindly obeys everything Damashi tells him, never stops to think about the situation, so when it's inevitably revealed that Damashi is really Onaga, who was manipulating him from beyond death, somehow, I don't really feel too bad for him. My honest reaction? Yeah, that's more like it. So overall, Conquest is an ambitious attempt, and I wouldn't mind seeing something like this appear in future MK games, be it as an MMORPG or in another MK game. But that's enough of that, let's go into the new characters. Ashra is a demon searching for redemption, and with her weapon, the Chris, she seeks to achieve that ascension. So despite being a demon, her moves are all heavenly based. Hotaru is from the realm of order, so he's obsessed with causing order. He's got only 2 special moves such as the Grasshopper and the Lava Burst. Not really a whole lot to say about him. Havoc is the opposite of Hotaru. He comes from the realm of chaos, so he's all about spreading anarchy and disarray. In fact, I even heard he was the main villain of the Mortal Kombat X comic book. I haven't read it, so I can't comment on that. So his moves are all about twisting his body into shapes that really shouldn't be possible. He even rescued Cabal and convinced him to restart the Black Dragon, who recruits 2 members. Cobra is... well, yeah, he looks exactly like Ken Masters, let's not deny it. But he's nowhere near as memorable or likable as Ken. His special moves are nothing to write home about either. Kira is basically a mix of Sonya and Kano. Nothing else to really say about her. So you got Cabal, Cobra, and Kira. So you get K. Oh. Dairu is a mercenary, formerly from the realm of order, but because he killed a man, he was sentenced to prison because he decided to take revenge on the man who killed his family, who was actually caused by... Darius is a rebel, seeking to achieve freedom from what he perceives as an oppression. I really don't find him that notable, to be honest. Shujinko, I already covered how much of an idiot he is, but in order to use his special moves and fatalities, you have to find them in Conquest Mode after you beat the game. So you can't even truly use him until you get all the moves. And all his moves are just copies of other characters, so really nothing special about him. You can actually have Scorpion Spear and Sub-Zero's Freeze Blast, which makes for a game-breaking combo, but I can't show you it, because to get the spear you have to fight Scorpion in Conquest, and he does 300% damage and is healing at the same time. Jesus. Oh, before I move on, I know I talked about returning characters, but there's 2 who are back in this game, and they are quite different from before. Raiden is now Dark Raiden. This Raiden is ruthless, and cares nothing for mortals who endanger Earthrealm. His energies are reformed in Earthrealm, but something is wrong. Why did Raiden turn dark? Well, the answer to that was not revealed in this game. Oh, there's one more character. Remember Liu Kang, the guy who got his neck snapped in Deadly Alliance? Well, his spirit is still around, having been set free by Shang Tsung's death, and is doing things helping inspire Boraicho to take up the fight, and is working with Ermac to free his brainwashed friends from Onaga's control. But there's another form of Liu Kang that exists, and that's... Zombie Liu Kang. Yeah, Liu Kang is a zombie now. Who unleashed this abomination? Well, that information has left a mystery for this game. He's got some weird moves like this fatality here. Yeah, not sure what's up with that. The gameplay is largely the same as it was in Deadly Alliance, but I will admit that things feel a bit tighter. You can now use the analog stick to move your character, thank God, and you now have combo breakers. Basically, if you're getting comboed and you need help, Well, you can press block and forward, and your character will do a breaker, which will knock your opponent out of the combo. You get 3 of these per match, but unfortunately Deception doesn't improve the wake-up game. You can still only roll on the ground, so there's some improvements, but not a whole lot. Characters are much more specialized this time around, such as including unique get-up animations. Scorpion will use his spear to get up, and Sub-Zero will push himself up with his ice. They also have more unique win poses, which is a nice touch. You're back to having 2 fatalities, which are nice, nothing really notable to say about them, but you now have the option to perform a Harakiri if you lose, which is basically just a way to rob your opponent of the chance to perform a fatality on you. Stages in this game are a nice mix of new and returning stages. There's now stage transitions where you can knock your opponent into a new part of the stage, so there's no annoying walls this time around. Stages now have death traps which you can use to get an early kill of your opponent, so you can end a match as early as 30 seconds, though this sometimes leads to weird happenstances such as this. This was the first Mortal Kombat game to have online play, which I can't show you because this is a 12-year-old PS2 game, so it's long since offline. The GameCube version, since the console itself couldn't do online, yeah, online play will never catch on, eh, Nintendo? So in its place, it had 2 extra playable characters, Shao Kahn and Goro. Now you may be asking, didn't those 2 die in Deadly Alliance? Well, yes, but then again...
Shao Kahn was killed in Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance, but nobody really ever dies in Mortal Kombat.
Yeah. Explanation this time around is that Shao Kahn created a clone of himself, which has to be the laziest explanation I've ever heard. And he healed Goro, so... yeah, go figure. There's also 2 extra modes called Chess Combat and Puzzle Combat, but I honestly didn't spend much time on these. It's just chess and puzzle. I recommend playing actual chess and Tetris instead. The sub-boss in this game is a returning character, but also a tag team character. Noob, Saibot, and Smoke. Noob seeks to claim his own army and has reactivated Smoke against his will to serve as his first minion. Poor Smoke. This finally leads me into the final boss of the game, Onaga. Remember how intimidating he looked in the opening? Well, what's he do when you first get ready to fight him? Yeah, kinda hard to take him seriously. Onaga can be tough, but if you smash the Kamidogo, you'll leave him open to a combo, and that's your time to strike. Eventually you'll wear him down, and he'll explode. Yep, MK tradition, even though it doesn't always make sense. The endings are the same presentation as Deadly Alliance. Bunch of pictures with text. They all follow along with the bios of the characters and are pretty logical conclusions all in all. Noob Saibot is revealed to be the original Sub-Zero resurrected, which I thought was brilliant. But several endings hint at a larger force that's manipulating events. What is this force? The One Being. At the beginning of time, there was only the One Being and the Elder Gods. The One Being fed off the Elder Gods, but eventually the Elder Gods defeated the One Being and divided his consciousness into the realms. If all the realms were ever merged back into one, the One Being would awaken, bringing an end to all existence. You could say it would bring about Armageddon. So that's Deception overall. It's an improvement over Deadly Alliance, and I had a lot more fun with this one than I did Deadly Alliance, so Deception is a step in the right direction. Perhaps with another game the system will reach its fullest potential? Well, we'll get to that. But first, I'll be taking a bit of a break from Mortal Kombat. My next review will be Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2. Thanks for watching, this is RetrospectGreg signing off. Hey, did you enjoy the video? I hope you did. If you want to see more, hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to like, share this video if you want it to be seen by more people. It really helps me out. Alright guys, I'll see you next time.